The sky above Earth was calm, filled with stars that looked the same as always. But deep in the control room of an observatory in South America, something strange had just happened. A technician named Lise stared at his screen, confused. A pattern had appeared too regular, too perfect to be natural. "This isn't from a star," he whispered to himself. "It's a message." He called his supervisor. Then the news spread quickly. Within hours, scientists across the world confirmed it. Earth had just received its first clear signal from deep space. But this wasn't a greeting. It was a command. The message repeated in hundreds of languages, not just Earth languages, but ancient ones, forgotten ones, and some that had never existed here. "Ball, surrender. The Eternals have returned." People didn't know what to think. Some called it a hoax. Some thought it was a prank. But the signal kept coming louder, stronger, and more direct. Then came the images. They showed tall, glowing beings with gold skin and long, curved helmets. Behind them floated massive starships that looked like temples in the sky. One by one, the images showed destroyed planets, shattered moons, and cities turned to dust. These beings called themselves the Eternals, and they believed they were gods. They sent one final line in the message: "We are the first. We are the last. Kneel and live. Resist and vanish." Panic spread. Social media exploded. News channels played the images again and again. People debated in homes, governments met in secret, and religious groups claimed prophecy. But in the background, one group stayed calm. A secret task force deep under the Atlantic Ocean gathered. They were the guardians of Earth's hidden plan, Project Revenant. For years, humanity had prepared not for war, but for survival. Strange. Space signals, unexplained disappearances of satellites, and sudden energy pulses from beyond the solar system had pushed leaders to act long ago. A ship was built, silent, deadly. A warship not for domination, but defense. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't tested, but it was Earth's only hope. While the world panicked, the task force activated hidden codes. Deep underwater, a vast chamber opened. Light poured out into the dark sea as Revenant, Earth's last weapon, hummed to life. On the surface, global leaders sent a reply to the Eternals: "We seek peace. We are not your enemy." The reply was immediate: "You are not equals. You are dust." 3 days later, a strange object entered the edge of the solar system. Then another. Then hundreds. They moved slowly, but with purpose. No signals, no greetings, just quiet, steady movement. The world watched as the alien fleet passed Mars and approached the moon. Telescopes and space cameras zoomed in. People gasped. Each ship looked like a giant cathedral made of metal and light. Glowing symbols floated around them. They didn't fly, they glided, like gods walking on air. In front of the fleet was a single ship larger than a city, with a crown-shaped structure on its top. This was their flagship. From it came one voice, broadcast to all radios, TVs, satellites: "I am Veiltur the Divine. I speak for the Eternals. You have 3 Earth rotations to surrender your world and kneel. If you refuse, your history will end." The voice was calm, but cold. It carried power, pride, and something worse, certainty. He didn't ask for surrender. He expected it. On Earth, some leaders wanted to negotiate. Others screamed for war. But many were frozen with fear. Who could fight gods? In the secret command room of Project Revenant, a woman named Captain Ria Malek stood in silence. She watched the footage, her jaw tight. She was chosen to command Revenant, but she had hoped that day would never come. She turned to her crew. "We've waited for this. Now we act." They nodded. Quiet, focused, ready. They had trained in silence for years. As the countdown began, across Earth, No one knew what was hiding beneath the ocean. No one knew about the silent ship powered by stolen alien tech, built using secrets found on ancient crashed probes. No one, except the Eternals, who would soon discover that humans do not kneel so easily. The stars had spoken. The gods had come. But Earth was no longer a quiet world. 3 days. That's all the time Earth had been given. No more. No less. The Eternals had spoken their warning. Now, their fleet floated just beyond the moon, casting long shadows across the stars. From Earth's surface, people could see strange lights in the night skyships, like floating palaces, too massive to be real. Every hour, fear grew. Streets emptied in some cities. Others were filled with people holding signs, chanting, praying, crying. News reporters asked the same questions again and again. Will we surrender? Will we fight? But the leaders of Earth had no answers. Inside, a hidden bunker, deep beneath Iceland's surface, a private meeting was being held. Only 7 people were there, representatives from the largest world powers. They sat around a circular table, each one pale-faced and silent. In the center of the table floated a hologram of the alien fleet. One man finally spoke. We cannot win. Look at the size of their ships, the way they move. We don't even understand their weapons. A woman from the African Union responded. Then, do we just give up? Kneel? Let them control us like slaves? Silence. Then a voice came from the far end of the room. Calm, steady, and sharp. There is one path left. It was General Soren, the man in charge of Earth's last defense. Project Revenant is operational. Gasps filled the room. You mean it's real? Someone asked. It actually works? Soren nodded. It's not perfect. It hasn't been tested in battle. But if we surrender now, we lose everything. This is our only chance to show them humans are not prey. No one voted. They just stood, looked at one another, and slowly nodded. The order was given. Far beneath the Atlantic Ocean, the Revenant awoke again. This time, fully. Massive metal doors opened like jaws. Water rushed out as the black, sharp-edged warship rose from its resting place. It didn't look like a ship. It looked like a weapon shaped by human fear, hope, and rage. Inside, Captain Rhea Maleg stood on the bridge with her crew of 12. Every one of them had trained in silence, away from their families, their homes, and even their names. Power levels stable, said Arjun, the lead engineer. Cloaking engaged, reported Mira, the tactical officer. They won't see us coming. Rhea nodded. Then we make first contact our way. The Revenant rose through the water, broke through the surface silently, and launched into the sky like a black arrow. Satellites didn't catch it. Enemy scanners missed it. The Eternals had never seen stealth like this. Meanwhile, in space, the Eternal flagship floated above Earth. Inside its throne room, Veilter the Divine stood, surrounded by his elite guards. His body glowed with golden armor, and his eyes burned like stars. He watched the blue planet below. Still no surrender, said one of his advisors. Veilter smiled coldly. They wait because they fear. They hope we change our minds. They do not understand what we are. He raised a hand. A glowing sphere appeared in the air, a live feed from Earth's orbit. Prepare to destroy their lunar outpost, he said. Let their moons scream before their cities do. The weapon systems charged. But just before they fired, something strange happened. One of their smaller scout ships near Mars exploded. No alarm, no warning, just vanished in light. Then another. And another. Confused, the Eternals scanned the area. But nothing appeared. No ships, no missiles. Nothing visible. Is it a malfunction? A technician asked. Veilter frowned. No, this is different. Moments later, A voice echoed across their fleet's communication system. It wasn't loud, but it was clear. Human. Strong. This is Captain Rhea Malik of the Earth vessel Revenant. Your reign of fear ends now. Every Eternal turned to look. At the transmission. Then it ended. Back on the Revenant, Rhea stood calmly. She had taken the first shot. The ship had used its silent cannons to remove key enemy scouts. The Eternals still didn't know where she was. They're angry now, said Myra. Let them be, Rhea replied. They wanted gods. Now they'll see what humans become when pushed too far. Suddenly, alerts blared on their screen. A massive energy spike came from the enemy fleet. They're charging up their main weapon, Arjun said. We have less than 6 minutes. Then we go in now, Rhea said. The Revenant turned, invisible to all eyes, and moved toward the alien flagship. Inside the Eternal command ship, Veiltur's smile had vanished. Now his face was hard, cold, unreadable. I underestimated them, he whispered. His advisor asked, Shall we delay the attack? Veiltur's eyes flashed. No, we show them why gods rule worlds. He raised his hand. Fire. The sky above Earth remained calm, but far above, war had begun. The Revenant moved silently through the void, like a shadow in deep water. Hidden under layers of cloaking and advanced tech, it passed undetected through the alien fleet. Even the Eternals, those who believed they were gods, could not feel its presence. Inside the warship, Captain Rhea Malik stood still, watching the enemy ships on the screen. Her sharp eyes moved from target to target. Around her, the crew was quiet, focused like hunters before the strike. We're in the center of their formation, whispered Myra. Good, Rhea replied. They think power makes them untouchable. Let's remind them humans don't need to be seen to be dangerous. Arjun, the engineer, tapped his console. Weapon systems fully charged. Hyperlance ready. We'll only get one clean shot before they detect us. Then we make it count, Rhea said. The Revenant turned slightly, aligning itself with the largest alien warship in the enemy fleet, not the flagship, but a key vessel that controlled communications and shields. Taking it out would send a message. You are not safe. Rhea raised her hand. Fire. A blinding beam of energy, silent but deadly, tore through space. It hit the alien ship directly in its core. The ship didn't explode at first. It simply broke apart. Pieces drifted, glowing and cracking, before bursting in a silent storm of fire and dust. Within seconds, one of the Eternal's strongest ships was gone. Inside the Eternal flagship, alarms rang like thunder. Impact detected. Sector 12 is destroyed. But how? Shouted one of the guards. There was no warning, no enemy vessel detected. Veiltur the Divine rose from his throne slowly. His golden armor flickered with frustration. This is no accident, he said coldly. This is defiance. He looked out the window at the stars. Find them. Earn them. Show this species what it means to defy a god. The Eternal fleet split into formations, searching the space around them. Energy pulses, scanner drones, and wide-range scans spread in every direction. But the Revenant was already gone. Back on the human ship, Rhea smirked slightly. They're blind and angry, said Myra. They're firing at nothing. Let them waste their energy, Rhea said. We move deeper. The ship adjusted course. Now it was heading straight toward the flagship, where Veiltur himself sat. But this was no suicide mission. Rhea didn't want to destroy the flagship. She wanted to send a message. Back on Earth, news of the sudden explosion reached command centers. Leaders stared at the satellite footage with wide eyes. Was that us? Someone whispered. General Soren smiled. Yes, and that's just the beginning. In cities across the world, screens lit up with a simple message. Revenant has engaged. Earth is not surrendering. Hope spread like fire. Meanwhile, Veilter looked at the wreckage of his destroyed vessel. "These humans are worse than rebels," he said. "They're clever, dangerous, and worst of all, unafraid." One of his advisors stepped forward. "Shall we initiate Phase Omega? Wipe the planet?" Veilter hesitated. He had never needed to use that kind of power on a species so young. It felt beneath him. But now, his pride was wounded. "Prepare." "The weapon," he said. "If they want to challenge gods, they will face divine fire." Inside the Revenant, a soft hum filled the ship. The cloaking system was starting to weaken from the energy drain. They had only a few minutes left before they'd be seen. "We've got one shot to get close to the flagship," said Arjun. "After that, they'll lock on." Rhea nodded. "Understood. This isn't about destroying them. It's about breaking their illusion." The Revenant moved faster, aiming at the upper flank of the enemy flagship. A new weapon was ready. The Slicer, a close-range cutting beam designed to disable control systems without full destruction. As they got close, enemy sensors began to flicker. "They're starting to notice us," said Naira. "Perfect," Rhea said. "Let them see us now." The cloak dropped. For the first time, the Eternals saw the Revenant. A strange, sharp-edged, black ship unlike anything they had ever faced. It didn't glow. It didn't shimmer. It looked like something built to survive the end of the world. "Human ship detected," shouted an Eternal guard. Veilter's eyes narrowed. "Destroy it." The flagship opened fire. Dozens of energy beams shot toward the Revenant, but the ship twisted and moved like a living creature. It dodged between blasts, taking only minor hits. Then it fired. The Slicer beam hit the flagship's control wing. Systems blinked and went offline. The throne room lights flickered. The fire stopped. And for a moment, all was quiet. Then Rhea's voice echoed through the flagship's communication system. "You are not gods. You are just powerful invaders. And you've made the mistake of thinking humans don't fight back." Veilter stood in silence. Around him, his fleet drifted, confused and shaken. His pride was bruised. His image cracked. And in that silence, for the first time in thousands of years, an Eternal felt fear. The silence inside the Eternal flagship was loud. Veltor, the Divine, stood still, his golden armor dim under the flickering lights. Around him, the crew looked lost, confused. Their systems were down. Their pride had taken a hit. A single human warship, small, hidden, and unknown, had cut through their defenses like a blade through silk. No one had ever done that before. "We've regained some power," an Eternal officer reported, "but scanners are still blind. We can't find them." Veilter clenched his fist. "They're not gods," he said, voice low. "They're insects that learned how to bite." He turned to his commander. "Find that ship. Tear it apart. I want its captain alive." The Revenant slipped back into shadow. Captain Rhea Malik sat calmly on the bridge, her expression unreadable. Her crew moved with quiet focus. They knew what they had just done. It wasn't about damage. It was about fear. The Eternals were shaken. "We're no longer invisible," Myra said. "They'll come hunting now." "Good," Rhea replied. "Let them come. The more they chase, the less they lead." But Arjun frowned. "Captain, I've been watching their formation. It's shifting. What do you see?" "They're tightening into a spear formation. This isn't a search. It's an attack. They're going to fire everything at Earth." Everyone went silent. "Estimated time?" Rhea asked. 20 minutes. Maybe less." Rhea stood. She looked at the image of Earth on the screen. So calm. So unaware of what was coming. "We stop them here," she said. "Right now." Back on the Eternal Flagship, Veilter's main weapon systems powered up. A bright core of energy formed. Between two massive wings of the ship, "Prepare the Judgment Beam," he ordered. This weapon had only been used once in 1,000 years. It had the power to burn oceans, crush mountains, and silence entire civilizations. Below, Earth had no idea it was about to be tested. Inside the Revenant, alarms rang. "They're charging something huge," Arjun shouted. "It's more power than anything we've seen. Can we intercept it?" Rhea asked. "We'd never survive a direct hit," Myra said. Rhea walked to the center of the bridge. "Then we don't wait. We strike before they do." The Revenant shot forward like a silent comet. The ship was faster than any human ship had ever been. It weaved between the enemy fleet, dodging beam blasts and explosions. Alien ships fired in every direction, but none could lock on. "They're angry," Myra said, smiling. "They should be," Rhea replied. "We're about to humiliate their god." As the Revenant reached the flagship, it released a special drone, one of Earth's most secret technologies, the Phantom Pulse. The drone flew straight toward the alien weapon core and detonated not with fire, but with silence. The explosion caused no damage, but it sent out a pulse of strange gravity that disrupted energy flow. The Judgment Beam flickered. Then it shut down. Inside the Eternal ship, panic spread. "Weapon failure. Core is destabilizing." "How?" Veilter slammed his fist into his throne. "That ship." Again, Rhea saw the flicker on her screen and gave a short nod. "Now." The Revenant released a barrage of precision strikes, each one hitting a weak spot on the enemy flagship. They weren't trying to destroy it. They were cutting it piece by piece, like slicing a crown off a king's head. Then something unexpected happened. A smaller alien ship broke formation. It flew toward the Revenant, but instead of attacking, it sent a message. "This is Commander Tevel of the 5th Eternal Guard. We did not agree to this war." Everyone on the bridge stared. "Are they surrendering?" Myra asked. Rhea narrowed her eyes. "No, they're hesitating." The message continued. "The Eternals forced our people to serve, but your courage shows us a different path." Suddenly, several alien ships turned away from the flagship. They didn't fire. They simply stopped. Inside the flagship, Veilter saw it too. "Cowards," he hissed. He turned to his guards. "Prepare my personal vessel. I will destroy the humans myself." On board Revenant, Myra's screen lit up. "Captain, the flagship's core is charging again, and Veilter has escape pod just launched. He's trying to destroy us in a suicide strike," Arjun said. "Or worse, he's trying to escape and bring reinforcements." Rhea's eyes hardened. "No, we end this now." She locked her sights on the enemy pod. "Target Veilter directly. All weapons, no mercy." As Veilter flew through space, he activated his personal armor. Glowing gold wings spread around him. He looked less like a pilot and more like a god from myth. "I will show them what power really is," he whispered. But before he reached the Revenant, a line of energy cut through the stars and hit his pod. It didn't explode, it imploded, vanishing into a pulse of silent light. In that moment, the Eternal Fleet stopped moving. They had seen their god fall. And then they knelt. For a moment, space was quiet. The glow of the explosion faded. The pod carrying Veilter, the so-called god of the Eternals, was gone, reduced to dust by the Revenant's final strike. No pieces, no body, just silence. Inside the Eternal Fleet, everything stopped. Ships floated without motion. Weapons powered down. Orders stopped coming, because the god was dead. On board the Revenant, no one spoke. Captain Rhea Malak stared at the screen. The threat was gone, but something didn't feel like victory. It felt heavier, quieter. "We just killed a god," whispered Arjun. "No," Rhea replied calmly. "We reminded them that he never was one." Suddenly, several eternal ships began broadcasting. The messages were confused, emotional, and strange. He was immortal. How? They killed him. The humans killed him. What now? Who gives the orders? Some ships drifted away. Others shut off their weapons. And then a new voice came through. "This is Tevel of the Fifth Eternal." "Guard," said the voice. "We surrender." On the bridge, Myra blinked. "Did I hear that right?" "They're giving up," Arjun said. "Just like that?" "No," Rhea said. "Not just like that." They saw the truth. She tapped a button and opened a channel to all alien ships. "This is Captain Rhea Malik of Earth. Your leader was not a god. He was a tyrant hiding behind fear and power. Earth does not want war, but we will not kneel." She paused. "You are free to go home, or stay and help rebuild something better." The message ended, but not everyone agreed. Deep within the Eternal Fleet, a new group rose, led by a war priest named Ziren. They refused to accept Vaelter's death. They believed he would return, reborn through divine fire. They called the humans blasphemers and planet breakers. They gathered every remaining warship still loyal to the old ways. "They killed our god," Ziren growled to his fanatics. "Now we burn their world in his name." The Revenant picked up the movement immediately. "They're regrouping," Mira said. "Looks like 20 ships, all heading straight for Earth." Arjun's face turned pale. "That's enough to destroy everything." "We don't have time to recharge our main weapons," Mira added. "And our stealth systems are fried." "We're out of tricks," Arjun said, but Rhea shook her head slowly. Not out of courage. She turned to her crew. Her voice was steady but strong. "We knew this wasn't going to be easy. Every person on Earth is counting on us now. Not because we're the strongest, but because we're willing to do what they can't." She looked around the bridge. "You with me?" Each crew member nodded, one by one. Revenant turned. It faced the enemy, directly. No stealth. No hiding. Just one ship against 20. Back in Earth's orbit, the sky shimmered with light. The Eternal Splinter Fleet approached, fast and angry. At its center, Ziren's ship pulsed red, shaped like a burning sword. He opened a channel. "You will pay for your sins, humans. The divine flame is coming." But before his broadcast ended, Rhea's voice interrupted. "Then come get your judgment, priest." The battle began. Laser fire lit up the stars. Revenant dodged and weaved, dancing through chaos. Each blast it fired hit true blowing holes through armor, knocking out engines, splitting ships in half. It was taking hits too. The hull cracked. Lights flickered. Systems failed. Inside, the crew pushed forward. Arjun rerouted power from life support. Myra operated weapons manually. And Rhea? She kept the ship moving like it was alive. One by one, the enemy ships fell, until only one remained. Ziren's had charged forward, glowing brighter and brighter, its energy core pulsing violently. "He's going to ram us," Arjun said. "He's going to explode. Then we take him with us," Rhea said. She pushed the throttle. The two ships raced toward each other. Fire behind them. Earth below them. And then a beam of light appeared between them. A new ship had arrived. It was one of the eternal vessels that had surrendered, led by Tevel. He had returned. He opened fire on Ziren's ship from the side. "Stand down, priest," Tevel said. "The gods are gone. The future belongs to the living." Ziren screamed as his ship was torn apart in a blast of red and gold. It was over. The Revenant floated in silence. Damaged, scarred, but alive. Rhea sat in her chair, breathing slowly. We made it. Mayra whispered. No, Rhea said. Humanity made it. In the days that followed, Earth sent out signals of peace. Many alien races who had once feared the Eternals now contacted humanity, not as subjects, but as equals. The warship HSS Invictus hovered silently in the void, facing the heart of the alien god's empire. A colossal temple ship, 10 times larger than Earth's moon, stood before them, its glowing runes pulsing with ancient energy, as if mocking their presence. But the humans did not flinch. Captain Reyes stood on the bridge, eyes locked on the eyes. Screen. They've gathered their entire fleet around the temple. The officer beside him whispered. I know, Reyes said quietly. They think numbers can crush us. But we didn't come here to survive. We came to end this. Deep inside the Invictus, the AI Athena was preparing something no alien race had ever seen: Project Requiem, a super weapon so powerful it had never been tested. Not even Earth knew its full effect. Across space, the alien gods prepared a live transmission. The tall, glowing figure of the god leader, Veiltor, appeared on their screens. His voice echoed in every mind on the Invictus, vibrating, with a power not from technology, but from something older, something terrifying. You have come far, humans. But this is where your journey ends. Kneel now, and your species will be allowed to serve. Reyes didn't answer right away. He simply walked up to the camera and stared directly into it. You called yourself gods, he said. But gods don't bleed, and today we'll prove that. Before the transmission could cut, Athena activated Requiem. A sphere of light expanded around the Invictus, silent at first, then erupted in a gravity wave that bent space itself. Enemy ships were flung like leaves in a hurricane. Shields shattered. Power systems across the alien fleet died. Even the temple ship flickered like a candle in the wind, in one strike. Thousands of divine vessels were reduced to silence. Inside the alien capital, panic took root. Veiltor staggered. For the first time in millennia, he felt fear. What is this weapon? One of his generals screamed. Something we can't counter. Another shouted, human ground troops, riding drop. Pods launched from the Invictus, landed on the god world surface with precise coordination. They didn't come with massive armies. They came with elite teams, engineers, specialists, fighters with neural links and exo-armor that made them look like shadows wrapped in fire. The gods' followers tried to resist, but bullets didn't care about faith. The humans moved like ghosts, disabling key systems, tearing down altars, and broadcasting the truth. The gods were just aliens with stolen tech. As the battle turned, something strange happened. Across the empire, planets long held in fear began to rise. Inspired by the human courage, other species rebelled. Slaves became soldiers. Prayers turned into resistance. And then Veiltor did the unthinkable. He appeared again in a broadcast, kneeling on the steps of his own throne. I was wrong, he said. You are not beasts. You are not savages. You are the storm. The galaxy watched in silence as one of the oldest tyrants kneeled before a human warship. Reyes didn't smile. He didn't speak. He simply turned off the transmission. Back on Earth, people cheered. Across free planets, fires were lit in celebration. But inside the Invictus, there was no celebration, only a quiet understanding. This war had been won, but others would come. Gods may fall, but new threats always rise. Still, one truth now echoed across the stars. Humanity had made the gods kneel, and the galaxy would never forget.